Greetings, fellow citizens of Disneyland. Brickey here. Today's adventure looking at the brand new Avengers Campus opening up this Friday, June the 4th. This is a guide on how to make it through the opening weekend, the opening weeks, what to expect, and to make sure you maximize your investment and your time for exploring the brand new Avengers Campus. Guys, fellow citizens of Disneyland, we are getting a brand new land at the Disneyland Resort, and it's easy to think, oh, well, we just got Star Wars Galaxy's Edge back in 2019 into 2020, but these are things that don't happen that often. And with everything that we went through, something that probably won't happen in a while. So I don't know about you, but I am very, very excited to explore all of this. And when I go to the park on Friday, now the annual passes are canceled. So like you, when I go to the park this Friday, I want to make sure that I'm able to maximize my investment and get the most out of these precious, precious Disneyland hours. And with limited capacity, limited tickets, no APs, it's just a whole different ball game at Disneyland. Let's jump in and explore the best way to maximize your time at Avengers Campus. As it has been for the last couple of years at Disneyland, one of the best ways to maximize your time at the park, and now it's just become essential, make sure you have the Disney app loaded onto your smartphone. Probably a good idea before you go, fully charge the phone, force quit all those apps that you've had on forever, reset your phone, restart your phone, and just make sure you give your phone a fresh restart for a day where you're going to need it a lot. Because one of the things that we have learned, and this is something I've heard from cast members now for a couple of weeks, but it has been officially confirmed as of today, you are going to need your phone to get admission into the land. Going back to the Star Wars Galaxy Edge opening days, if you remember, when people first got there at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. in the morning, Galaxy's Edge would be able to hold a certain amount of people. Once the land then was deemed full, or that it had enough people in it, it would move over to a virtual queue. And if you remember, you would go to Disneyland, you would walk somewhere down on Main Street, or you would open up your phone and it would tell you that group 37 was just finally allowed to get into Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Now that system didn't last that long with Galaxy's Edge because, as we all know, Galaxy's Edge had a little bit of a bumpy start, only opening with one signature attraction, and a lot of people were just staying away waiting for the land to fully open. But Avengers Campus is going to be something altogether different, and largely because of limited capacity at the parks and also limited capacity inside of this land. So I would say that Avengers Campus is probably going to fill up really quickly every morning for the first 6 weeks, maybe first 2.5 months. Therefore, having a mobile phone and the Disneyland app will be the best way to ensure that you and your group can get access to the new land. And quickly, let's just kind of break down how small this land is. So before you get upset about like, oh, now I have to wait in line just to get into a land. But once I give you these numbers, I think you'll understand exactly why they have to do this. This is something that Disney has to do. Avengers Campus is landlocked. It has attractions and lands and utilities all around it, whereas Galaxy's Edge was just on the outer edge of the park. They bulldozed down to raw earth. Disney Imagineering fit Avengers Campus into a very tight space. That space is roughly about 250,000 square feet, and that's even including the makeshift dining area that is on the backside of the Hyperion Theater. But we'll get to that later. So Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is roughly 565,000 square feet, making Avengers Campus only 44% of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So you can already imagine, less than half of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So maybe just imagine like the shop area. And then if you really want to break it down, because I love this type of design with numbers, DCA is about 2.7 million square feet, making Avengers Campus about 9% of DCA. So therefore, on opening day and the opening weeks, the opening first couple of months, you cannot have 100% of your audience in 9% of your land, and you certainly can't do that in the state of California in 2021. And if you want a real easy comparison in your mind visually, just how big is Avengers Campus? It's the same size as Fantasyland, but Fantasyland minus the Matterhorn, Small World, the Fantasy Fair, and the Fantasyland Theater. So yeah, just old school Fantasyland is how big Avengers Campus is, which goes to show how much Disney has really tried to cram into this incredibly small footprint. So make sure you have your app, make sure that you come with a plan, show up early, but know if you're not one of the first folks in, that at some point in the day, you will need your phone to be on a mobile wait to get admitted into the land. Also, you will need your phone to be able to do mobile food orders. Food right now at Disneyland is a mess. I'm not exactly sure if it's a lack of cast members, if it's a lack of training, if it's budgeting, but food right now at the resort is a mess. I was there Monday for the flag retreat ceremony, and I just wanted to get a treat before I walked out the gate, and the only place that I could just go to on the fly was Starbucks. And Starbucks has great drinks, but not the greatest treats. So you really have to prepare and you have to plan ahead. Now, Avengers Campus is going to have so many amazing new food treats. They went really hard on the food for this new land. So my advice to you is as soon as you can start placing those mobile orders, do it right away. I'm not exactly sure if you need to be in the land to place the mobile orders, but I am pretty sure a mobile food order will not get you into the land. So that's something we're going to have to figure out on opening day. But as soon as you set foot in there, go ahead and start trying to book your food. And if you can only do the mobile food ordering while you're in the land, that means those times will be much faster than anything else around DCA. So probably a good idea to head over to the Disney Parks website or go over to Disneyland.com. You can look at the menus, you can get a good idea of what you want, but do yourself a favor. I know you might not be wanting to think about lunch at 8 a.m., but order that food as quick as it becomes accessible to you, and you will thank yourself later. And probably the number one reason why you're going to want to have your phone all juiced up and have the app locked and loaded is you're going to need your phone to get you a boarding group so that you can ride the new attraction that we're getting. Web Slingers is the one new attraction that will be opening up in the land. There's going to probably be a very adventurous dark ride that will come years later in a different phase. They are bundling Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout into the land, but many of us have already rode that hundreds of times, if not dozens. And so Web Slingers is the new attraction that everyone will want to be riding. And they're going with the Rise of the Resistance rollout just like they did for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, where at 7 a.m. you can get a first crack at getting a mobile boarding pass. But in order to get that 7 a.m. mobile boarding group, which I'm sure these are going to go in less than a minute, just like Rise of the Resistance did, you will need to be starting your day at DCA. Now, you don't have to be at the park. You can do this from home, but if you have a park hopper, you'll need to be starting your day at Disney's California Adventure to get a crack at those first boarding groups that will be available at 7 a.m. And just like Rise of the Resistance, you will get a second shot now at 12 p.m. Now, the 12 p.m. will be really great for anybody that struck out at 7 a.m. If you don't get it the first time, don't worry, you have a second shot. But also at noon, keep in mind that anybody that is starting their day at Disneyland and has a park hopper pass, this is their opportunity to try to get a boarding group for Web Slingers. So there's going to be a little bit more competition when you attempt for that noon boarding group. Now, this is where the rumors have gotten weird, and I've heard some people not really sure how this works. I read the fine print, and I can assure you this is how it goes down. You can only hold one boarding group at a time. Not, you can only get one boarding group a day. So let's say that you're starting your day out at DCA. If you can get your Web Slingers mobile boarding group at 7 a.m. and you can ride the attraction before noon, at noon, you will be allowed to get a Rise of the Resistance boarding group for your afternoon at Disneyland. Now, a little bit of pro advice here. You are best to start your day off in DCA if Avengers Campus is a priority to you. You are also best to attempt to get your Web Slingers boarding group first, because this ride is 4.5 minutes long with about a 3 minutes preview. So you're looking at about 7 or 8 minutes per guest to ride the attraction. Rise of the Resistance alone is 20 minutes. So just the length of the ride means that people are going to be able to circulate through this faster. It also has a much faster loading time. Rise of the Resistance is very complicated, so I do expect these to cruise faster. We also know that Rise of the Resistance has a tendency to break down. So better to start your day with web slingers, try to get that done before noon, and then roll the dice again to try to rise against the resistance later on that afternoon. And here it is in the fine print, just to point out, if you read this paragraph, it can be a little tricky, but it is the way that it's going to work. Joining the virtual queue does not guarantee the ability to experience web slingers, a Spider-Man adventure. Guests may only enter a virtual queue once per day for each attraction and may not hold a boarding group for Star Wars Rise of the Resistance and Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure, at the same time. So yeah, there you go. It's possible to do both with a little bit of luck and a whole lot of perfect timing. You can do both, but I've heard a rumor going where you have to pick or choose, and that's simply just not true. That's just a bad rumor. But as far as this visit to DCA goes, on a bright side, if you're worried about the land getting locked because you don't get there early, because we are now in a moment where there's not annual pass holders, I do believe that people will go in, they'll ride the ride, they'll eat their treats, do a little bit of shopping, and they'll dip out. So I do expect that the small land will have a pretty quick turnover, because a lot of people, this might be their first or one of their few trips back to the Disneyland Resort, and they'll have so many other things, so many old classics that they want to visit. Whereas if this were annual pass days, you might find people willing to park there for pretty much the whole day because they can come back again tomorrow. And another great thing about if you are lucky enough to get one of those boarding groups, a boarding group will get you into Avengers Campus, so that it guarantees you admission in. So if you got that early, you might want to go do some of the other things around the park, knowing that when your number gets called, that you have access into the land. Also, if you go into Avengers Campus opening day in the morning, but you're not allowed to ride till later on in the afternoon, you can leave Avengers Campus and then come back in a second time when it is your turn to ride. You only get one shot, I believe, at getting access into the land, so just make sure you plan your day accordingly. And right now with everything at Disneyland, a good strategy, a good game plan works out, but also patience, persistence, and being a little bit flexible, because we are definitely in a different moment. One of the big selling points of Avengers Campus and how Disney was able to maximize the smaller footprint is this land is the most interactive land that exists at the Disneyland Resort. Not only do you have the new attraction, Web Slingers, which is completely interactive as it is a video game style attraction where we're riding through, computers monitoring our body movements, allowing us to do gameplay. You're also able to buy accessories to upgrade your Web Slingers experience. I'll be doing a standalone video about that later on the week, as this is Avengers Campus week on the channel, where I'm doing videos every day about the campus. But aside from Web Slingers being interactive as a game-based attraction and being able to upgrade the experience by buying accessories for $65, also this land will have lots happening up above. The building will host a flying stunt Matronic, where a flying Spider-Man will fly through the sky and then, get this, work his way down to the ground to do a meet and greet with you. Now, you're not going to get a meet and greet from the robot, but the robot is part of a show that will draw people's attention to let them know that Spider-Man is around for a meet and greet. The land is also home to Doctor Strange's Ancient Sanctum, where Doctor Strange randomly throughout the day will put on a show for guests that are lucky enough to be in the right spot at the right time to see this magic trick / meet and greet. Interesting note, it says coming soon on the Disneyland website, but on Web Slingers, it actually gives the hard date of June 4th. And the rooftop shows that also say coming soon, will all of this be online this Friday? There are some things at the Disneyland website that say specifically opening June 4th, and other things say coming soon. I'm a little bit weary about the things that say coming soon, because they tend to be things that currently we can't do at the park right now. For example, live entertainment, as you know, has been reduced due to the COVID-19 restrictions, as well as small spaces. The PIM Test Kitchen is listed as being open, but the PIM Test Lab is listed as coming soon. We don't know for sure if we'll be getting these stage top shows, but let's hope that we do, and it's just the way that the website is listed. And another aspect of interaction is the main Avengers logo when you come in off the performance corridor, that main sort of courtyard there. Several times throughout the day, the Dormolage will do a battle training performance for all the guests that are around there. but it seems that Disney is taking a low-key approach with all of these entertainment offerings, that their times are going to be randomized, making you feel like when you're in Avengers Campus at any moment, anything or anyone is capable of showing up. And keep in mind, this land was designed in an entirely different time for an entirely different audience of 2019, not this bizarre moment that we're at in 2021. So this Friday, it will be very interesting to see which of these things come online, how often they happen, and how active the land actually is. I will be there. I'll be doing a live stream. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell, because every time I'm at the Disneyland Resort, I always go live to create a window into the magic to take you there with me. And lastly, as far as interaction goes, the Disney Play app has been adjusted for this land, giving you the ability to do a little Avengers trivia or Marvel trivia while you're waiting in line, and also give you attraction and land digital achievements. So between a very interactive attraction, a bit of a meet and greet magic show, and hopefully taking good use of the rooftops and the streets of Avengers Campus, we'll see a land that is full of interaction and makes us feel like we're stepping into all of the action as we are getting recruited to become helpers of the Avengers. Now, food is a huge part of this land, and I'm not going to go through and show you all the items. I'm just going to let you know a couple of things about food so that you can make the most out of your Friday. I already said it once before, but it's very worthy of repeating. Mobile order your food and mobile order it early. Look around on the menus, figure out what it is that you want to eat, and go there with a good plan. I know that one of the fun things about Disneyland used to be spontaneous snacks. We just kind of have to do things a little bit different. And keep in mind that PIM Test Kitchen has a very, very small footprint for seating. That's why when you exit, you'll be encouraged to turn left, go past the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout building, and on the back side of the Hyperion Theater, where people used to line up and exit once seeing the Frozen show, that has been turned into a makeshift food court. Now, it is my understanding that if you go over to that food court and eat, don't worry, you are not leaving Avengers Campus. I believe that probably somewhere around where the Hyperion Marquee is, that will be a roped off border, which will act as the end or the edge of Avengers Campus. So feel confident that you can go over there, eat your food, enjoy your food, and then wander back into Avengers Campus if you need to do some shopping, or you have that lucky boarding group that's coming up so you get the web sling. I do believe that some of the smaller food carts, you may be able to walk up and do cash orders, but Disney is going really hard right now on mobile ordering. So plan ahead and know that if you don't see it in the app, then that means that you can walk over and buy it cash and carry. As I said, the PIM Test Lab, the bar, it's listed as coming soon. I don't know if this is a Oga's Cantina type situation where it has a small footprint, but let's hope that that is open this Friday. And keep in mind, that is a separate section, but inside of this building here. I believe it jaunts over to the side of it. So they're in sort of the same footprint as Disney really try to maximize this small land. Now, shopping. Shopping is going to be interesting, because this land has a few different places to shop, but they are quite small, and I mean really small. So Web Suppliers, this place is going to be packed all day. This is the marquee shop of the new land. Think of this kind of as the Droid Depot of Avengers Campus, where you can go in and get your spider bots and various different accessories. If this shop is too crowded for you to get in there, or you don't want to waste a lot of your time waiting in a long line, or if the campus supply pod, which I believe is just going to kind of be like those little pods outside of Rise of the Resistance, where it's just a little cart to buy a couple of items from. If those two areas are too packed, don't worry. You can head over to Studio 17, which has been converted into the premier backlot shop, which is now an Avengers Campus store. It has everything in there. So if maybe you're waiting to get into the land and you want to knock out your shopping, you could head over there right away. If you want to get one of those cuffs that will make your web slinging more interactive, you can easily buy that over the backlot premier shop and get that out of the way. So once your boarding group is called, so that you're already prepared to go do some extreme web slinging. So if the land is really congested, or you have a limited amount of time in there, or if you're frustrated that you don't get to get in till later on in the day, although getting in later on in the day, I think is going to make it more magical because it's going to look phenomenal at night. And I really feel like that's when the soundscape will come to life. In the darkness, you always have the backlot premiere shop to do any of your shopping. But warning, you have to be in DCA to buy anything. So you can't just roll to downtown Disney and go in an exit off of the Esplanade like we were able to during the free DCA days during the peak of the pandemic. So you do have to have an admission into the park in order to go into the store to buy any of this exclusive merchandise. And as I said, all week long, I'm putting up videos that are showcasing Avengers Campus. I wanted to put this out early in the week to give you an idea on how to make sure that you feel confident on getting into the land, how to make sure you feel confident on ordering your food, and also everything that I can do to help you get on Web Slingers. But a really fun thing about this land and how it will evolve, and something to keep in mind if you're speaking to some of these characters, all of your favorite Marvel characters are free to come and go from Avengers Campus. This land is not locked into a specific timeline. The snap hasn't happened. Some of our favorite characters have not died in the films. This is an area free from any timelines in the cinematic universe. Even though those characters do exist in this land, they are not tethered to the stories and the timelines that we may be seeing on the big screen. So therefore, if you see a couple of buds that you think are no longer with us, you are not seeing a ghost. You have just entered into a different timeline. A timeline that exists at the Disneyland Resort inside of Disney's California Adventure, where I will be this Friday, June 4th, to cover all of the opening, to shoot as many videos as possible, and to take you with me on a live stream if you're not fortunate enough to be there this Friday. I hope this video helped you understand how you're going to be able to get into the land, get your food, and ride the new attraction, and also give you a strategy for maximizing your time while hoping to get a little bit of shopping done. Friends, thank you so much for showing up today. I would really appreciate if you leave a comment below or give this video a thumbs up and let me know, are you going into Avengers Campus? Are you going to be there on the 4th? You better say hi if you are. Let me know the date that you plan on going, and if you're as excited as me about getting a new land inside of DCA. This hasn't happened since 2012, 2013 with Cars Land coming online. So it's definitely a very, very exciting time here at the Disneyland Resort. Friends, until I see you standing inside of Avengers Campus, hopefully training with Adora Milaje, I'll see you back here on the channel with more Disneyland updates, and this week, more Avengers Campus coverage. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to Club 1313 for making today's video possible.